by.
You know, it was his game, it was goals that were invaluable last season for them.
Well, that is the Sporting side tonight. They've signed 3 men who played in Britain over the summer, and of them, Fabio Rochenbach is a starter. There's no captain João Moutinho, though. He's been linked with a move to Everton, and he's been left out. As far as Sunderland are concerned, the side does have a familiar look to it, but they're deprived of a number of players through injury, most notably last season's leading scorer, Ken Wynne-Jones. But it is still a strong side fielded by Roy Keane. Daryl Murphy plays up front. He's one of 7 internationals in the starting 11 this evening.
That's probably looking like his strongest squad, his strongest team, sorry. And it needs to be, because this is not a bad sporting team. And I think it's really important that they get off to a good pre-season, because you don't want to go into the season with a couple of losses, scraping a few victories. You want to really put some good performances in for the crowd.
One change, incidentally, in the Sunderland starting lineup. Danny Higginbottom had been expected to start at left back tonight, but Ross Wallace has replaced him in the starting 11. Don't know why, but that will be a straight swap with Wallace playing at left back. Ross, of course, now off the transfer list, having recently rejected a move to Preston. Local officials, as you would expect, Bruno Pachau is the referee. As these two lock horns again. Older Sunderland fans will remember a European campaign back in the mid-70s when, having won the FA Cup, Sporting found themselves Sunderland's opposition back in the 73-74 European Cup Winners' Cup campaign, winning 3-2 on aggregate after Sunderland had won the home leg at Roker Park, but lost by 2-0 in Lisbon. Fantastic travelling support as well, Jason. 900 Sunderland fans, they reckon, are here in Albufeira. And they will be expecting to see a performance. It might only be the first of 7 odd pre-season games. It is, as is always said, a means to an end. It's all about the performance, but you can't expect to get into a losing mentality at this stage of pre-season.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. You want some good performances, and to be fair, it's a great game. I mean, the fans will be out there. It's great weather. They'll be there to see their team. They'll be getting a few days sun as well. So it'll be a nice couple of days, but it's a good workout for the players. The weather, it'll be humid there. It's a good test for them. It's what you want pre-season. And as a player, these are the games you want to be playing in. Sporting Lisbon, you look at the games they've got. Ajax is another fantastic game. And they're the ones as a player you want to be playing. You want to be playing against some of the best players in Europe.
Well, as well as signing Fabio Rochenbach over the summer, Sporting have also brought in Helder Postiger, the former Tottenham striker, who has moved from Porto for £2 million. And also, last week, Ricardo Batista, the Fulham goalkeeper, who has had loan spells at MK Dons and Wickham. He's on the bench tonight for Sporting, but it is a strong side, notwithstanding the fact that it doesn't include any of their players who are involved in Euro 2008. The two teams make their way out onto the pitch with Sunderland, as you can see, in their change strip tonight of two-tone blue stripes. Dwight York amongst the Sunderland players, having recently signed an extension to his contract. And there is the former Middlesbrough man, Fabio Rochenbach, who I'm sure will be on the receiving end of plenty of good-natured banter from the Sunderland supporters. Rochenbach played the best part of 100 games for Middlesbrough, the Brazilian international, who of course had an earlier spell at Barcelona in his career. Well, Roy Keane has worked tirelessly over the summer trying to get the pieces to the jigsaw that he needs, and this deal has been done between Sunderland and Tottenham for the quartet of players to be allowed to speak to the Black Cats. Pascal Chimbonda has expressed a very keen interest, said that he was very impressed with what Roy Keane had to say. He certainly wants to make the move. A few comments attributed to Kabul suggest that he's slightly less keen to make the move to the northeast, but Timo Tainio and Steve Malbronk, other players that could well be making the journey.
I think once Sunderland sign maybe 1 or 2 players, sort of the bigger names that they've been linked to, they might have a bit more faith in what maybe Roy is saying to them. That players, when they get to this stage of kind of the pre-season, they're just looking, when they know they're sort of out of their own clubs, they're looking to see what's going on at the clubs that are interested in them, see the kind of players that obviously Roy Keane's going to try and sign, and kind of players he's been linked to. and then they might take the step in. But you know, it'll be nice to see them signing a couple of players in the near future. We're getting a little bit close now to that opening day.
And the injury list not particularly clever either, with Kenwyn Jones injuring his knee ligaments against England, Dixner too, who also out with a knee ligament problem, while Connolly, McShane and Miller have all also failed to make the trip because of injury.
Big players. You know, they're first team players. They're not like they're squad players. They're not fringe players. They're players who'll play week in, week out. So really important that they don't pick up any injuries and do make a couple of signings.
Important season coming up for Sporting, who were well beaten in the Portuguese league last season. They finished second, but were miles away from champions Porto. And from that point of view, they know that they have to improve. Thiago, the veteran goalkeeper, makes a rare appearance for Sporting between the sticks, although he's likely to be the third choice goalkeeper for Sporting, behind Rui Patricio and also recently.
I repeat.
You choose the goal.
Yes, kick off. No. Yeah.
Dean Whitehead winning the toss. And Sunderland will be kicking from left to right in this first half. As I say, Victoria Setubal will also provide opposition for Sunderland during the week. That match on Wednesday, another game that you can see live here on Satanda Sports. Well, formalities just about completed. Sporting season actually starts the week after Sunderland's. And this the first game that they are playing of any consequence as well in their pre-season campaign. Don't expect it to be particularly fast and frenetic, but nevertheless still a very worthwhile workout for Paolo Bento Sporting and Roy Keane Sunderland.
I think with quite a few players being at the Euro with Sporting, I think with them missing, it gives the fringe players a chance to impress the manager, and it's a good test for them. So you know, they'll want to be making an impression for the Sporting Lisbon manager and showing them what they've got. So you know, it won't be. I don't think it'll be too easy for Sunderland tonight. It'll be a tough test for them.
Rottenbach preparing for his Sporting debut. And we are underway. Sporting operating with a conventional 4-4-2 formation. Sunderland with a few options how they're likely to line up, but the one thing we can guarantee is that Murphy will be playing through the middle, and it will almost certainly be 4-5-1 for Sunderland.
This is where it becomes a good test for Sunderland in games like this, where like Sporting, technically very, very good. They keep the ball for long periods. You know, they don't know one pass, two pass, and then launch it. They try and keep it 4 or 5 passes, work their way up the pitch, and they keep the ball very well, and it makes Sunderland work. And that's the kind of game you want in pre-season.
Here's Ross Wallace, the late inclusion in the starting lineup after Danny Higginbottom pulled out. An early touch for Arbel as well, the Sporting right-back who scored a marvellous goal at Manchester United in the Champions League last season. It's not just domestically that Sporting are looking for improvement over the forthcoming months. They need a better Champions League campaign as well, as Carlos Edwards snatches at the first opportunity that Sunderland create, but he has got a corner. That didn't take deflection after all. Will be a goal kick which Thiago will take. Delight. It's a challenge by Collins. Rochenbach. Anderson Polga.
They've certainly packed the midfield. Sunderland playing 5 across the middle, 1 up top. So unless the quality is good up to Murphy, you know, they're going to struggle to get the ball.
York. Done by Myron Nosworthy in an area of the pitch where he couldn't afford to get it wrong. Collins. Oh. Saw one for Dwight York in the midfield. But, not a challenge that had a taste of pre-season about it.
Yeah, Yorkie, we made up with that. 2 minutes in. Oh. He should be all right. He's only torn his sock.
Edwards. Hoping that the support would come from Bardsley.
Good start from Sunderland.
York. Edwards caught in possession this time by Ismailov. The chase will be on, but it's a chase that Craig Gordon can easily win. Bardsley putting it out of play for a throw for Sporting. Teenager Carrico. Anderson Polga for Ronnie. Collins came to meet it. Yannick Jarlo chasing with Ross Wallace, and that's a Sporting throw.
I've done a couple of games against Sporting games last year. The game against Bolton, which you could probably say Sunderland are quite similar in the physical approach to playing matches. And to be fair, they struggled, Sporting. They couldn't come to terms with the physicality that Bolton threw at them. You know, the physical challenges and the way they hurried them into mistakes and stuff. And to be fair, I think if Gary Megson was a bit more adventurous that night, he might have nicked something. But obviously, with the season drawn to an end, Bolton needed points. He was resting a few of his players, so unfortunately, Sporting scored in the last 5 minutes, and Bolton went out the cup. But they certainly done really well against a decent Sporting team.
Eventually eliminated from Europe by Rangers, who went to Portugal and won with a fine goal from Stephen Whittaker, capping a marvellous performance that night for Walter Smith's men. Ismailov. Collins again standing firm at the back. Reed able to work it wide. Now Edwards. On diagonal intended for Kieran Richardson, who's been talking about how he's in a lean state these days. Ahead to the new season. It is an important season for Richardson's career, you would feel.
Yeah, when he signed, I think he picked up a pretty nasty injury, didn't he? And he couldn't really get it right, and it took him a while to show the Sunderland fans exactly what Roy had bought. But he popped up with a few important goals, some good performances, and another bright point for Sunderland's season last year. They certainly need him this year.
Whitehead. Now Phil Bardsley, the former Manchester United man. Nosworthy.
Season for you, that, isn't it?
Now pushed by Murphy, will give Sporting a free kick, but no signs, Jason, in the opening 7-8 minutes that players are shirking challenges. They're more than happy to throw themselves in.
Yeah, I've been more impressed with Sunderland's approach to the game. You know, they've certainly not showed too much respect to Sporting. They've got about them, they've kept the ball well. They've created probably the only chance, the best chance of the game, but you know, they created it. It wasn't anything lucky about it, and they're working hard. They seem to be the fitter team.
Arbel forced into an error by Richardson. The cross disappointing.
That's the man you want on the ball, though, and he's got a great left foot. He can produce better quality than that. You know, that's poor for him.
Turned 26 this week. Andy Reid.
You're joking.
Let's make you feel old. Here's Delay. And good ball in. That really was a chance for Yannick Jarlo, one that he would have expected to take. And Sporting with the clearest chance so far, but one that they've spurned.
Just as we spoke about Sunderland opening the best chance, this is the best chance. Should have done better. Sloppy defending, to be fair. He's just got across there, Nosworthy, and put it over the bar. Should have done better.
He's never been prolific, Yannick Jarlo, but it was wonderful service from Delay, a player that Sporting missed last season. He was out since September with a cruciate ligament injury. A player who was in the Champions League winning side at Porto under Jose Mourinho. Delay back in the side after best part of the year convalescing.
Portuguese have this knack of create quality players, don't they? Flair players. You know, you look at, well, certainly Sporting players coming out of Sporting, Figo and Ronaldo and Quaresma. You know, some fantastic players have come out of this club.
And a club who've had British links, of course.
Yeah, Phil Babb, a good friend of mine, he went out to play at Sporting Lisbon. Done really well. I went to watch him a couple of times, and unfortunately I went out one time to watch him in a cup final that Sporting got to, and unfortunately he was dropped morning of the game, so it was a bit of a wasted trip. But we had a good night anyway. And I was linked to Sporting Lisbon as well, just from being around the place. But he had some good times. He'd done the double there, and it's a really friendly club. They make you feel really welcome, and even as a visitor and a guest, they made a lot of fuss. Obviously Peter Schmeichel was there as well. It's a good setup at Sport.
Players with experience in the British leagues. Pereira hasn't seen too much of the ball so far, but here he is involved. Ismailov made a run ahead of him. Whitehead came back to make the covering challenge. Reid. Edwards.
Shout of earlier from Andy Reid there.
Carlos Edwards giving Sporting a free kick. And here's Rochenbach, the former Middlesbrough man. Arbel. Adrian Silva. Talked about Sunderland being at a little bit of a crossroads in terms of the transfer market, not knowing quite who they're going to get in between now and the beginning of the season, and Sporting have a similar problem. They don't know who they're going to lose between now and the beginning of the season, with the impressive young captain João Moutinho and goalkeeper Stojkovic both being linked with moves to Everton. The handball there by Ronnie was spotted by the assistant referee. It will be a free kick to Sunderland.
I think Sunderland's transfer targets will certainly be no, and I think it's just a matter of convincing them to come and, you know, settling contracts and negotiating wages and stuff. I'm sure all that's going on behind the scenes, and I think it'll just be a matter of time before they sign 3 or 4 players. You know, it's just getting that one to come first, like we were saying before.
They've also been linked with a move for Manchester United's Darren Fletcher. Reportedly failed last week with a £4 million bid for him, and there's conjecture they might go back with an improved offer to Manchester United. Linked with Louis Sahar as well, although perhaps his future lies elsewhere. Holger taking the chance that he was going to be able to shepherd that over the line, and his clearance picked up by the Sunderland midfield again. Nice play by Whitehead. Murphy's ball in, and Harville prevents the corner, but it will be a Sunderland throw. In from Wallace. Well met by Collins, unable to steer it forward to a teammate.
I think as well, talking about transfers still, I think, you know, they won't want to be drawn into paying over the odds for players. You know, managers will be looking, thinking, you know, they need a striker. Kenwyne Jones is a big part of the plans. He's out for a good few months, so they're kind of a little bit desperate, and sometimes that adds to it, you know, maybe $1 million, $2 million more than what a player's worth. And I think, knowing Roy's character as I do, he won't want to be caught up into too much of that. You know, he'll know how much a player's worth, and he'll stick by his guns, and probably this is a case of why it's taking a little bit longer, possibly.
Delay. Hasn't done too much so far. What he has done, he's done very effectively. Ronnie now making his way forward. Ismailov. Rochenbach. Adrien Silva. And no problems for Craig Gordon.
Still early on in the pre-season, as it were, and I've been impressed with Sunderland's fitness. They've got back, they've got into a good shape, they've got them 5 men in midfield behind the ball when they lose it, and they've worked hard to get up the pitch. You know, playing one up front is difficult because you've got to get up and support him, and the midfield have done that. Edwards has worked hard, Andy Reid's worked hard. Been quite impressed with Sunderland. That's certainly something that Roy will be working on. You know, difficult to beat. You know, they come up against Liverpool and Arsenal, they'll be looking at taking draws against these teams by being hard to beat, by keeping a good shape, by being disciplined. And it's these kind of games that give you that experience, because like I said, you know, Sporting, they keep the ball, they prod and probe, they pull you out of position, and that's what Royal wants. He'll want his team difficult to beat. You want him getting behind the ball, and you've got to play teams who do that to you, move you out of position, so you can get back into them positions. And you know, it's tough, but it's what you need.
Well, there's plenty more live football coming up for you in terms of the pre-seasons here on Satanda Sports. Manchester United continue their tour of South Africa against the Orlando Pirates on Tuesday, and you can see that on Satanda Sports 1. And then Middlesbrough face Celtic on Tuesday, 9:25 kickoff. The game played here in Portugal, and that also on Satanda Sports 1. He's covered some ground so far, Andy Reid. And finds Bardsley. Reid again. Arbel. Holger looking for Ismailov, and it was a nice take. Not too far away.
Good effort. Good effort. They've been a little bit sloppy up top, Sporting, but great little touch here. Comes inside. That's what you want to see a striker. Let him go. Bad luck.
And he scored the winner in the Super Cup victory against Porto last season. Marid Ismailov, Russian international of considerable experience. York, nobody on the field more experienced than him. Terrarinia. Carrico.
Signed another 1-year deal, Yorkie.
Despite the fact that he's going to turn 37 midway through this season.
I think it's what he adds off the pitch as well. You know, he's such an infectious character. He's bags of experience. He's great to have around the dressing room.
And has adapted really well to the more deep line position that he's taken up as his legs have grown older as well.
Yeah, and you know, Roy will be wanting to get his instructions on, and he knows he can. He's got faith in Dwight Yorke. He'll listen to him. He'll get his point across to Yorke, and he'll transfer it onto the playing pitch.
Whitehead taking up a good position. Didn't have too much to aim at in the centre. Two very young but very experienced managers in Paolo Bento and Roy Keane, both still in their 30s, but plenty of international experience on the biggest stage. Both carving a real niche for themselves in managerial careers as well.
Nice to see Rick Brazier back there as well. He was reserve team manager when I was a bit of time at Sunderland, and great fella to have around. He's good coach. Went to Manchester United. Alex took him to Manchester United, and he's worked his way back to Sunderland. Obviously Roy would have known him from there, and it's great to have around. And another infectious character around the dressing room.
Now an opportunity perhaps for Kieran Richardson.
Oh, right idea.
Clever burst of pace from Richardson, who was clearly onside. Beat the goalkeeper and couldn't find the far post or Edwards. Still goalless as we approach the midway stage of this first half. Both sides creating opportunities. Yannick Jarlett probably with the best of them for Sporting. Sunderland certainly having more attempts on goal. Can they create something else here? Carlos Edwards. York. Reid working it wide for Wallace.
Certainly not been frightened to keep the ball, Sunderland. They've played it around. Tried to create chances, tried to pull players out, and they've had a few sniffs on goal by doing that.
Foul on the Sunderland captain, Dean Whitehead, has given the Black Caps a decent opportunity here. The first real set-piece opportunity they've had. Andy Reid standing over it with any number of targets. York amongst those forward. They just managed to elude Collins and also Murphy.
That's a great chance. Great quality from Andy Reid. We were talking about it earlier. That's more like Andy Reid putting the ball in.
First corner of the game goes Sunderland's way. In again from Reid. Just too high that time for Daryl Murphy.
Great quality. Looking for a goal. You've got to commit more there.
How about losing out to Richardson? Good ball in.
Another good ball from Andy Reid. He's getting more and more on the ball, Andy. Last 5-10 minutes. He'll have an important part to play for the Republic this year. Big year for them, you know, entering the qualifiers under a new manager. Important that he stays fit, not just for Sunderland, but for the Republic as well.
Collins again given license to push forward and attack everything inside either penalty area. And attacking everything, he might well have attacked one of the Sporting defenders there. I think Delay it is, in fact, he's going to be okay.
Talking of the Republic of Ireland, well done Patrick Harrington today. Brilliant.
Some closing burst for him to retain the Open. Apparently the first European player to retain the Open for over 100 years.
102, I think it is. That's not bad, is it?
Not bad.
I heard his missus saying it before on the radio.
Here's Anderson Polgar. Bardsley. Whitehead again with time to turn in the midfield. Wallace done his best to get forward down that left flank whenever he can. York. Reid.
You don't mind that. Players keeping the ball. If it's going to go back and it, instead of giving it away or being sloppy, you don't mind it going back and starting again, certainly in these games.
Nice take by Ismailov. Wanted too long on the ball. Richardson with a challenge coming in from behind, claiming he took the ball, but the referee, for the first time, having to talk to one of the players, and this is why.
Yeah. He had our luck actually, because Ismailov, he stopped on the ball, and I think he would have just waited, Richardson. I think he could have nicked it legitimately, but he's gone to ground. He's took him from behind, so it's, you know, it's a free kick. They're certainly blowing the Sporting players, aren't they? Some players certainly look the fitter. I don't think I'd like to do a Roy Keane pre-season, to be fair.
You can imagine, can't you?
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't like to do one.
Ronnie's never afraid to try his luck from distance. And that's why! A magnificent strike. Craig Gordon possibly slightly onside it. But Sporting strike first with a free kick from fully 30 yards.
I don't know if it took a deflection. It's come a long way. Just there. I might get a, yeah, no. Is it Murphy had a wild? Yeah, he's had a wild. He's done him, hasn't he? He's had a wild slice of the ball. He's done Gordon. We still want him to do better. He'll be disappointed, Gordon, with that.
Got a strong hand to it, Craig Gordon, but not strong enough. He will, by his own very high standards, be frustrated that that one slipped through, but it's given Sporting the lead. It has to be said, the goal marginally against the run of play, with Sunderland creating the more opportunities and probably having the majority of possession, but not too much that could be done.
See, it adds a different ingredient to the game now. With being pre-season, you want to have a look at players' attitudes and, you know, how they go about getting back into it. You know, do they want to do it? Are they going to take the foot off the gas? You know, so, you know, it's not too bad for a manager. Have a little look at the attitude now and how they go about things.
Now Yannick Jala didn't fall for Whitehead in the midfield as he expected. Yannick forcing Delay wider than he wanted to go, but he's got 3 green and white shirts to try and pick out. One of them Pereira, Adrien Silva. Rochenbach has been pretty quiet so far. Goal scorer Ronnie, back for Fabio Rochenbach. And that's a Sunderland throw. Just give us an idea, Jason, about pre-season and what the players go through. That obviously the horrible first few weeks, but how difficult is it to convert all the running you have to do into actually finding your match fitness?
It's not a nice time for a footballer. To be fair, the season they seem to be getting longer and the break getting shorter, so you'd actually, you know, as long as you look after yourself for them 4 or 5 weeks properly, decently, then, you know, you stand a chance in pre-season, because the first 10 days, a lot of running, a lot of hard work, weights, afternoon sessions, feeling sore, getting the muscles back into that routine of day in, day out training, and, you know, and just getting yourself sort of match fit. This is where you get your match fitness from, by playing. This is where pre-season gets a little bit better, because you're in and out of the games, and you do get a bit of rest. You might get a few days off, but it's not as a footballer, it's the worst time of the year.
Ronnie's free kick, giving Sporting the lead.
Once you get
with other games coming up on Satanta Sports as well, as I say, they play Victoria Setúbal on Wednesday. You can see that one with the build-up starting at 5 to 9. The Irish tour see them taking Co Ramblers. They play Nottingham Forest. That's a week on Wednesday, and all those games coming your way live right here on Satanta Sports. Here's York. Ismailov. Watching back, and that took a deflection, and Gordon's handling was okay that time.
The free kicks kind of put a little seed in their heads, hasn't it, to start smashing the ball at the keeper. He dealt with that decently enough.
Eyebrows were raised when Sunderland paid £9 million for Craig Gordon. Eyebrows certainly raised in England, not in Scotland at all. who Scottish football fans had benefited from seeing Gordon play. Plenty of games at the highest level, both internationally and for Hearts in the SPL, always of magnificent quality. Sunderland try and get themselves back in the game. The cross from Ross Wallace, helped back in by Edwards.
Certainly raised a few eyebrows, didn't it? 9 million for a goalkeeper, but you know, Roy would have done his own work, and good reports about him. So I think Roy knows a good keeper as well, with Peter Schmeichel behind him for so many years. You know, is such an important factor.
Reid with Sunderland's third corner of the game. Whitehead. Sunderland are creating all the corners, they're having all the possession in the final third, although they do find themselves behind. Carrico to put that one away. 4 corners without reply now for the Black Cats. Dean Whitehead who will take this one, be an in-swinger. Likes to work it short instead, the angle changed for Whitehead's delivery. That's a better ball in. Collins going up with the goalkeeper. And it's a free kick to Sporting.
Nothing really, and it was there. Torn an eyelash. And as if by magic, he's all right.
Well, it looks as though he was indicating an elbow there. Well, there certainly wasn't an elbow from Collins. He may just have caught him with the flat of his hand. Mentioned earlier that Ross Wallace is off the transfer list. Liam Miller, another player who's come off the transfer list recently, although he's not out here in Portugal because of injury. I've been unlucky with the casualties. Sunderland, at least Kenwyn Jones, of course, after that collision with David James in the friendly between England and Trinidad and Tobago. Also Paul McShane, who fractured a kneecap whilst on holiday.
Yeah. It's always a strange one when a player does that, but you know, players will go away and they'll go swimming and go abroad and things, and it's easily, you know, it's easily done. There's some strange ones over the years, isn't there? Injuries. Rio's doing the, no, Rio's knee. Had his foot up on a chair and his knee locked or something. And I remember we had a player at Liverpool when I was there. It was Michael Stensgaard, I think his name was, a goalkeeper, and he dropped the ironing board and he went to pick it up and his shoulder popped out.
So he says.
So he said.
Reid's ball in. Away by Ronnie Bardsley. And he couldn't find a way through either. I suppose the most famous one, Santi Canizares, who missed the World Cup dropping a bottle of aftershave on his foot.
Aftershave, yeah.
As you do. Into the final 10 minutes of a first half in which Sunderland have acquitted themselves pretty well.
Can I just say something about dropping a bottle of aftershave? As a footballer, if you drop something, your instinct is to pull it down with your foot. I'm telling you, that's how he's done that. Most people would just let it smash and get out the way. As a footballer, you try and cushion that to the ground. That's probably what's done that.
It's goalkeepers who think they've got a touch, you see.
That's what it is, yeah.
That's the goal that has given Sporting the lead with Ronnie's long-range free kick. He didn't score a single goal for Sporting last season, the fullback, but he does like to try his luck from distance and has been rewarded tonight. Robertson's been a little bit in and out of the game. He's won this free kick. By Reed, who's played well. And Adrian Silva. Shows that Sporting have committed slightly the more infringements.
Yeah, we possibly might get a different formation maybe. Second half from Sunderland. Maybe Kieran Richardson might come inside where he can get on the ball a bit more. Might go 2 up top. These are the games and the time of the season that you can experiment with certain players and systems and different things. So there's no reason why Roy mightn't do that.
And one thing you can guarantee, there will be quite a few substitutions in the second half. Here's Dwight York. Wallace. Rochenbach. Shown very little willingness to push forward, just sitting in a defensive midfield position, trying to start play off from there for Sporting. They've surrendered it pretty cheaply.
That's where Paolo Bento will have something to say in the dressing room to the Sporting players. It's certainly unsporting-like to smash the ball out of play like that. They do have a tendency of keeping it very well, making teams work, but I felt they've been a bit sloppy tonight. A couple of the passes, that kind of thing, you know.
Arbel. Sporting shading the possession, but very close run thing, as you can see. Ronnie trying to get the better of Bardsley. He did get his ball in, although he only had Delay to aim at. York.
The price tag certainly didn't guarantee him a starting position every game last season. Roy wasn't afraid to drop him out the team and give him a little reminder. He'll have that at the back of his mind. He'll know there's no room for error when Roy Keane comes along. You know, you're not playing well, he'll take it out the team.
They had that little spell after Sunderland lost to Everton, where he was replaced by Darren Ward. It's only the Sporting substitutes that are troubled by that latest long-range effort. They've named 7 on the bench. Sunderland have got 9 potential substitutes. I think the players will be very glad that the game is being played this late at night. There's no time difference between here in Portugal and back home in Britain. But in fact, this has been played at 3 o'clock this afternoon, the players
Scotcho.
They would have been clamouring for the half-time whistle to have gone about 20 minutes ago.
This is where the dietitian earns the money. Pre-season players will be losing an awful lot of fluid, and even though you said that the temperatures it has dropped, the humidity will take it out of them. They'll be losing a few pounds of fluid, so it's important it gets replaced with the proper stuff, and it's where the dietitians come in and sports lads come in and rehydrate properly, and they'll be eating properly. So much goes in now to preparation. Certainly won't be eating prawn sandwiches.
It's Carrico. Anderson Polga, Brazilian international centre-half, the captain of Sporting. Edwards doing well to intercept the long ball forward and then winning the free kick for a handball by Rochenbach. And the closing moments of the first half, another opportunity for Sunderland to try and get the ball forward. Bardsley. Nosworthy just getting there in time ahead of Yannick. Another free kick. Fell on Ross Wallace, but no time to take it. Gabriel Silva with the last contribution of the first half, in which Sunderland have acquitted themselves pretty decently, but they do find themselves trailing, courtesy of that long-range free kick from Ronnie, which I know Craig Gordon will be very disappointed that it beat him, just eluding that right hand. And Sporting find themselves ahead in a pretty even contest here in Albufeira. More thoughts from Jason coming up very shortly. Half-time, Sporting Lisbon leads Sunderland by a goal to nil.
I'm home.
That's a lot of football, Vic.
Subscribe at satanta.com or call this number.
This is between me and you. These people are mad, I tell you. They're completely bananas. This calls for surgery. Quick, get me my syringe. These people are mad. What in the world could save these people? These people are mad, completely bananas.
The new Seat Ibiza, where beauty and technology come together.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could make last night's dream today's reality? With a Lloyds TSB loan, you could do exactly that, instantly. Not only could the money be in your account the very same day you apply, but we can offer you a great rate, 7.2% APR typical for Premier account customers. Lloyds TSB, for the journey.
Dell Inspiron laptops. Yours is high-def widescreen and amazing wireless reception. The Colourful Dell Inspiron 1525. Buy yours for £429, including a free choice of colour. Powered by an Intel Core 2 Duo processor. Go online now at dell.co.uk/TV.
Pain when moving? The deep penetrating formula of Voltarol Emulgel P can be attracted to painful inflamed areas, so the pain-relieving power is concentrated exactly where you need it. Voltarol, direct relief from pain to help keep you moving. Voltarol, the joy of movement.
New Garnier Fructis Style Rebound Jelly. A unique jelly with elastic fixing agents. Gives you ultra strong hold and ultimate definition. For a flexible hairstyle, get the rebound effect again and again. New Garnier Fructis Style Rebound Jelly. Take care.
Garnier.
The LG Steam Washer. Experience steam power.
Live and exclusive on Setanta. Kino Sunderland prepare for their Premier League campaign with a pre-season tour. Next up, it's Vitória in Game 2 from Portugal. More great football, Wednesday, 9:10, Setanta Sports 1.
Not just football here on Setanta Sports, of course. Coming up from Thursday, the RBC Canadian Open as the American Tour returns. You can see day one live from Thursday at 8 on the Setanta Golf Channel. And Jason McIntyre and I are in Albufeira, where Sporting Lisbon lead Sunderland by a goal to nil. It has to be said that on the balance of play, possibly a little bit harsh on Sunderland, but this is the story of the first half, and the best early chance did fall Sporting's way. Good play by Delay, and Yannick Jarlo getting the wrong side of Nosworthy. He should have scored here.
Yeah, sloppy Sunderland defending. It was a long ball, it caught him out. Good ball in. And he's got in front of Nosworthy, and, you know, he shouldn't be doing that, and he's put it over. He should have scored. But Sunderland would have felt that was come against the run of play, because they started the game really well.
It was Delay that got some space down the Sunderland left. And then it was Ismailov who turned inside Bardsley beautifully, but shot wide of Gordon's near post.
Yeah, rocking back, great crossfield ball, and a great take, come inside, and he let fly.
As the half progressed, Sunderland got more into the game, and Kieran Richardson had probably their clearest opportunity.
Yeah, he's managed to wriggle himself through, and he done the right thing. Well, obviously he never, because it never went in, but he done the right thing in trying to lift it over the keeper. He was just a little bit off, and it just unfortunately went wide.
Well, he didn't quite get that one right, and he didn't quite get that one right either. A crunching challenge on Adrian Silva. He claimed that he Ismailov, sorry. He claimed that he played the ball. The referee didn't agree.
From that angle, that's a booking.
And from the resulting free kick, Ronnie deceived Craig Gordon.
Yeah, he had hard luck. I think it was Darryl Murphy who has a swipe at it. I think we see from this angle a wild swipe with his right foot, which is unusual, and I think it's just done Gordon, and he's gone down there, and he's just done him. He'll be unfortunate because it's kind of gone through him. He was there to get a strong hand. It's gone through him, and he won't be happy with that.
Craig Gordon very frustrated, and that's the only goal of the first half so far. Sunderland's pre-season games coming up here on Setanta Sports, and of course when the season starts in earnest, there's plenty of action for you.
2 weeks in Benidorm's all I got, and now it's back.
We kick off another fantastic Premier League season on Setanta Sports this August. with Sunderland against Liverpool, followed by Fulham v Arsenal, Chelsea at Wigan and Arsenal again, this time trying to topple King Kev's Newcastle. Then in September, new bosses Hughes and Scolari face off as Chelsea go to Eastlands. Last year's epic encounter means Spurs against Villa should be a real cracker. September also sees Bolton v Arsenal and Premier League newcomers Hull face a daunting trip to the Emirates. In October, Old Trafford legend Paul Ince faces his former club as United travel to Ewood Park. Newly promoted West Brom visit the Theatre of Dreams later in the month. And keep your eye out for Newcastle against Man City and Blackburn beat Borough. November gets off to a flyer with Spurs beat Liverpool, then it's Newcastle against Villa, Liverpool versus West Brom, United go to Villa Park and Everton meet Wigan at the JJB. Wipe away the tears, girls. The Premier League is back on August the 16th.
Plenty of live games coming up, but next, the second half from here in Albufeira, where Sporting leads Sunderland 1-0.
This is between me and you. These people are mad, I tell you. They're completely bananas. This calls for surgery. Quick, get me my syringe. These people are mad.
What in the world could save these people?
These people are mad, completely bananas.
The new Seat Ibiza, where beauty and technology come together.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could make last night's dream today's reality? With a Lloyds TSB loan, you could do exactly that, instantly. Not only could the money be in your account the very same day you apply, but we can offer you a great rate, 7.2% APR typical for Premier account customers. Lloyds TSB, for the journey.
This athlete is about to tackle his biggest challenge yet.
I just joined the dad team.
Mom's go over there. The Game Plan on Disney DVD and Blu-ray High Def now.
Book at Expedia this July for thousands of great holiday deals, plus a chance to win free weekend stays with Marriott Hotels.
Let yourself go.
Tournament poker. It's about stamina, determination, patience, and the will to never give up. It's about challenging yourself every day to rise above the rest. Pick your moment, then make your play. With an online tournament starting every second, challenge yourself for free at PokerStars.com, the world's largest poker site.
We're committed to low prices. Save up to 20% on any iPod Nano, Classic or Touch when you buy an iLab travel kit. And save £70 on this Casio 10-megapixel camera, now only £79. Comet, we live electricals.
The LG Steam Washer. Experience steam power.
Football's back with a bang this August. We kick off with Man U Pompey in the Community Shield. And from then on, it's a feast of football. 6 live games from the SPL. 4 top live games from the Premiership: Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, and the Old Firm derby. Plus, there's 2 live internationals: England beat the Czech Republic and Norway beat Ireland. Quench your footy thirst after the summer drought on Setanta Sports.
Now, more top sporting action from around the world next weekend live on Setanta Sports. On Saturday, we're in Kettering for darts BDO British Classic. All the action live from 7:30 p.m. on Setanta Sports 1. And then from Kettering to Las Vegas MGM Grand, as you do, as Miguel Cotto and Antonio Margarito take part in the battle between the 2 welterweight superpowers. Don't miss any of the action from 3 a.m. on Setanta Sports 1. And we're in Albufeira, where Sporting Lisbon leads Sunderland by a goal to 0, and this is how they got that lead. And Craig Gordon will be very frustrated that this one went through. I just wonder if it did just take a flick off the edge of the 2-man wall, and maybe just brushed against Carlos Edwards on its way through, but enough to deceive Craig Gordon. We won't want to see that again. A goalkeeper of his immense quality will be very frustrated that that one got past him. But Sporting leading Sunderland by a goal to 0. And of course, for Roy Keane, now he's got the dilemma. He's got to mix the number of substitutes that he can bring on. He has to give them experience. He has to give them match practice and time in the middle. But notwithstanding that, he has to try and get his side back into this game.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed they've come in a goal down, but the overall performance has been good. It's been a fantastic workout. You know, it's a workout which he's set out to envisage. You know, they have kept the ball sporting. They've had to get back into a 5-man midfield to get a good shape. You know, they've worked hard. They've been pulled out of position. You know, and then they've had to manage to get themselves back into position. It's tough. That's what pre-season's all about. But it's still early doors in pre-season, so we'll be. I'm sure he'll be making a few changes, possibly change the system, you know, and try and create a few more chances, because he certainly won't want to get beat, but the way the team are playing, he'll be quite happy with it.
2 of the substitutes who will be desperate to come on and make an impression, and 2 men who were loaned out last season: Russell Anderson, who went to Plymouth, and Graham Kavanagh, who had a couple of loan spells at Sheffield Wednesday. Between them, they only played 3 matches for Sunderland last season. They will be desperate to be given the chance to try and fight their way back into the first-team plans.
Exactly, there's plenty of players in this squad that he's brought that will be itching to get on and sort of show Roy what they've got, and, you know, and get on the pitch, get some match practice in, because, to be fair, Jim, if they don't play tonight, they're running tomorrow.
Rodrigo Tui, you saw there, striker who scored a couple of goals in a cup final, and it looks as though he's going to be amongst those players brought on for this second half. Paulo Bento also made no secret of the fact that he was going to make wholesale changes at this juncture. And there's the Montenegrin midfielder, Simon Vukovic, who arrived from Russian football last year. He also on for this second half.
You know, you look at Sunderland's pre-season fixtures and you'll be looking, you know, tonight is a good workout. It'll be a team that keeps the ball really well, and that's what Sunderland will come up against in the Premier League. They'll be coming up against teams who will be keeping the ball for a long time. They'll have to frustrate teams, so that's basically what this workout's for. You look at teams like Athlone and Shamrock, that's where the goals, he'll be looking to create chances and score goals in them games.
So Vukovic on for the second half, Rodrigo Tui on for the second half, Tanel on for the second half, and Sunderland, as you can see, changing the goalkeeper, which will frustrate Craig Gordon even more, that he hasn't got a chance to perhaps produce a couple of decent saves in this second period.
Yeah, he probably would have liked to have come off. He probably knew he was coming off at half-time, but he'd like to have come off with a clean sheet, and you know, there'll be that little negative thought in the back of his head now, is he, you know, was Roy happy with him or not? But he'll be all right, plenty of time.
Underway for the second half. Sunderland in their change kit of two-tone blue, kicking from right to left in this second period. Signs that Sunderland too have made changes. Danny Higginbottom is on for the second half at left back. And Anthony Stokes also is on, seemingly taking up a position wide on the left-hand side for this second half. Ledbetter, you can see on the right-hand side of your picture, another one of the changes that has been made at the beginning of this second period is Ismailov. Nice turn by Romagnoli. Rodrigo Chewy. Not the best clearance. And the ball eluding everybody. It's Pedro Silva, another one of the changes that has been made at half-time. Two Silva's come on for Arbel. Romagnoli. Silva's ball into a potentially dangerous area, but comfortable save. Well, Sporting did pick up some silverware last season. They won the Portuguese Cup, beating Porto by 2-0 in the final, but they finished some 14 points adrift of them in the league.
It's happened a few times in the game, that crossfield pass, right to left.
Nosworthy losing out.
He seems to be playing higher up the pitch. Sporting Lisbon trying to put more pressure onto the back forward. Sunderland back forward, maybe pull him into a few mistakes and play in Sunderland's final third.
Commanding header away by Tunnell. Back in from Ledbetter. Appeals for a penalty were only muted anyway, but they were waved away. Sporting happy to keep possession at the beginning of this second half. Vukovic. Guarded back by Romagnoli. Now Tunnell.
Certainly work it to the wingers. You know, they're not afraid to spin 30-yard balls, diags. Like we said before, they've created some fantastic wingers, haven't they, Sporting?
Vukovic, and only into the side netting. No doubt about the amount of talent that he has, the Montenegrin international. And this was a good strike, plenty of power. Trying to deceive Darren Ward. Stokes trying to turn. Here's Pedro Silva. Tanel. To goalkeeper Thiago. Has the captain's armband in this second half. Paolo Bento ringing the changes defensively. Having a look at a completely different defensive cordon in this second period.
It has been a little bit scrappy from time to time, but the pace of the game's been quite impressive for a pre-season game. So sometimes you can get lulled into this kind of testimonial kind of pace, but both teams have really worked hard. Be pleasing for both managers.
Yannick, now Rodrigo Chewy. Vukovic got himself back on side. Paolo Bento would certainly have expected a little bit more quality around the final third than was shown there from Ronnie. Unable to replicate the finish that gave Sporting the first half lead. They've never got out of the group in the Champions League. Found themselves coming pretty close on a number of occasions. Provided good opposition for Manchester United last season. But that's the bridge that they've got to try and cross this year, and difficult to see really if they do lose João Moutinho, as is widely expected, and a couple of the other big hitters from last season, exactly how they are going to be able to progress. Home form always pretty good though at the Jose Alvalade Stadium back up in Lisbon. Comfortable for Fulop. Ronnie. Away by Collins. Canera. Another one of the summer signings. Play goes on despite the injury. Here's Graham Kavanagh. Danny Higginbottom. Stokes. Higginbottom calling that he wanted the ball to be played early. He does get it with time to deliver a cross, but he's put the cross in over the head of Murphy. Murphy's back on his feet after being down injured. Nosworthy's throw. Back to him from Dean Whitehead, and had a play for another Sunderland throw.
Game's just gone a little bit flat, hasn't it?
Collins. Now Higginbottom. Stokes has done really well. Got himself in past Silva. It's a good ball in as well. And Sunderland have the equalising goal. Fantastic play by Anthony Stokes.
Well played, Anthony Stokes. Great bit of skill. I thought he'd done a little bit too much. He was desperate to take him on anyway. He got a great little nutmegs, it looked like, and Great little ball across with the outside of his boot, and great first touch and a great finish.
O'Donovan scoring with just about his first touch of the game. He had time to bring the ball under control, but it was Stokes that made it. Roy O'Donovan, the beneficiary, as Sunderland get themselves back on level terms.
Yeah, they've certainly deserved it. You know, they have kept the ball better Sporting in the second half, which you'd expect Paolo Benta to tell them to do, because in the first half they did give it away cheaply, but you know, Sunderland have stuck at it. They've worked hard, and they fully deserve a goal.
Roy O'Donovan has been linked with a move to Dundee United this summer, but staying on Weir side, and scores the equalising goal just after the first 10 minutes of the second half, in which Sunderland have certainly rallied. Time to take a touch, and it was an emphatic finish.
Good finish.
Past Thiago. Hasn't quite had the luck in front of goal, Yannick Jallow, just tonight, but probably all through his sporting career, really. His goals have only come at a rate of about 1 every 5 games.
Yours is better than that, Jimmy.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. Clearance by Tennell. Murphy. Now that Sunderland changed the formation, looking a lot more potent.
Yeah, more positive this 4-4-2. Players on the pitch now are willing to take players on. Murphy's getting involved a lot more, becoming a bit more of a problem.
Ball had just gone out of play despite Murphy's best attempts to keep it in. Here's Ronnie. Ismailov, hounded by Higginbottom. Back for Tennell, now Canera, who rejoined Sporting from Valencia for over £1 million last month. Vastly experienced Portuguese international, actually now in his 3rd spell with Sporting. Pedro Silva. This is neatly worked with Sunderland on the back foot. Romagnoli trying to get his way through, and it's put out of play by Russell Anderson.
Better play from Sport, and that's what they're all about. They keep the ball and a little injection of pace, and they get in behind. That's what they're more known for.
And it's brought Sporting's first corner of the game just shy of the hour mark. Doing his best to try and prove that his first half goal was a fluke. Hasn't found his range since beating Craig Gordon. Martin Fulop was a subject of a bid from Stoke earlier this summer. He only made 1 appearance last season for Sunderland, having spent half a season out on loan at Leicester. Vukovic giving Sporting the free kick, despite the fact that O'Donovan was testing his innocence. Higginbottom. See Leandro Grimi, the recent signing from AC Milan, poised to come on for Sporting. Here's Tanel. Now Canera. Given away, and given away cheaply as well. Lovely ball through from Ledbetter. It's just too far ahead of Collins. Pedro Silva took it into a potentially dangerous area, but Sporting survived and could bring it away. Yannick. Lovely pass for Ismailov, and well cut out, well read by Danny Higginbottom.
Good play by Higginbottom there. Just read the situation, let it happen, and then he dealt with it.
Kavanagh. Ledbetter. Stokes.
Stokes again finding himself in that position on the left where he can get at him. And another good ball in. He's been quite impressive when he's been on the ball, Stokes.
Stokes to set up the goal. There is Leandro Grimi, Argentine international, preparing to come on for his debut. Sunderland's first corner of the second half. Delivered deep again towards Collins, but there was a push from the Welsh international. And it's a free kick to Sporting, which will give them a chance to make the change.
It's a big season for Anthony Stokes. He seemed to arrive at Sunderland in a blaze of glory, and big things spoken about him. He'd been scoring goals, and he didn't quite set the world alight when he arrived, and a few problems off the pitch reported, and Roy took him out of the team and that, and there was talk about him moving on. So he's obviously had a sit down with Roy, got himself together, and he'll be looking for a good season, and he's got plenty of potential. Be nice to see if he can do something with it.
So Ronnie off, replaced by Leandro Grimi, the £2 million signing from AC Milan. Michael Chopra on for Sunderland, as you saw there. Chopra, another Sunderland player who had been linked with a move away. Cardiff, his old club, had expressed an interest reportedly in taking him back to South Wales. And a good end of the season as well. Michael Chopra scoring 3 goals in his last 7 games. As you can see, he's on for Dean Whitehead. Preets are on as well. Shepherded out of play effectively enough by Russell Anderson. And just a little contretemps off the ball there. The Scotsman not happy as he tried to shepherd the ball out of play with Vukovic. I can only imagine Vukovic's command of English is better than perhaps we expected, judging by Russell Anderson's reaction. It didn't seem to be too much physically amiss from the Montenegrin. And there's Anderson again.
Montenegro, what language will that be?
Montenegrin, I would imagine. I don't know, to be sure, but thanks for putting me on the spot. More live football coming your way in our extensive coverage of the best of the pre-season action, with Manchester United taking on Orlando Pirates in Durban on Tuesday. You can see that one on Setanta Sports 1. And it's followed by Middlesbrough against Celtic. Double bill for you on Tuesday night. Sporting trying to get themselves back ahead. An awkward cross, which in the end Fulop can deal with pretty comfortably as it is flicked up into the air off Collins. Roy Keane not happy that Sporting were able to get in that kind of position out wide.
I think he'd be disappointed about the cross coming in You know, they'll be working on closing players down, certainly in this exercise against this team, and not letting crosses come in the box, defending properly.
By Anderson, picked up though by Romagnoli. Pedro Silva. And the free kick goes Sunderland's way. Roy Keane will be happy by and large as we approach the midway stage of this second half.
Yep. Yeah, I think he will be. It's been a good exercise for him. You know, you look at the games in pre-season he's got, you know, this one certainly, and Ajax. You know, big defending exercises, times when you don't have the ball for a long time, keeping your shape, things he'll be working on. They've certainly done that tonight. He's changed the system a few times. He's managed to get the older players off. So it's been a good exercise. And he's managed to frustrate Sporting Lisbon, which is good, as you've seen there. You know, trying to thread balls through and giving away possession. They've certainly done that tonight, Sunderland. It's been a good exercise, and he'll be happy. Showed great attitude getting back into the game, as we see here with the goal. Great first touch. A great finish.
O'Donovan still waiting for his first goal in competitive football for Sunderland after his move from Ireland. Free kick given away. Foul on Rochenbach. Grimmy. Don't really see too much action as an AC Milan player, the Argentine. Romagnoli, lovely ball forward. Good run as well by Jallo, although the cross from Yannick Jallo was a disappointment. Sporting start their league campaign against promoted Trefense on August the 24th. Sunderland's begins the weekend before that. Of course, you can see the match against Liverpool live here on Santander Sports. Then Spurs away, Man City at home, Wigan away. The first local derby of the season follows that. And game number 5 as Middlesbrough make the short journey north. Foul by a former Middlesbrough man, and Rochenbach on Kavanagh. Himself, once of the borough. Pedro Silva. Romagnoli, right in the challenge of Stokes. Another nice ball from Rochenbach. Grimmy. The foot was raised.
Changing system by Sunderland's just opened the game up a little bit, and with Rochenbach getting on the ball and switching it from right to left, you know, the wingers have started to get into the game a bit more and created a few more problems for Sunderland.
So the foul by O'Donovan, giving Sporting a rare opportunity really to show us their array of set pieces. Haven't seen too much from them. with the exception of the long ranger from Ronnie. So Nels made his way forward. Rotten back standing over it. It's easily dealt with. Very poor delivery. Now Ismailov. And I think possibly a little bit lucky to win the free kick from Michael Chopra.
Just a little tug, wasn't it? Nearly.
Four from Romagnoli. Good possession from Sporting. All the tricks coming out. Canera. Higginbottom unable to keep it in.
Just sitting a little bit deeper and deeper, Sunderland now. Just, you know, the ball, it went forward. You'd expect the midfield and the back four to push. The midfield did its job, but the back four sort of stayed in there, and it's why it created a bit of space between the two, and Sporting managed to get a throw in and in a decent position. Just be urging the back four to get out a bit quicker, push the midfield onto the centre forwards, give them some help if they manage to get decent possession.
The exchange of passes between Chopra and Ledbetter. Worked wide by Michael Chopra for Nosworthy. Kavanagh. Nosworthy battling, and now faces a lung-busting run back into position. There's the first game back for Sporting and Sunderland. Perhaps 72 minutes of action beginning to take its toll on a few of the players.
Yeah, the managers won't be minding that. That's where you get your fitness in now.
Well played by Rodrigo Chewy. Sunderland living on their nerves. It's a good challenge by Russell Anderson.
Possibly the first time Sunderland have left a gap in that back four. They've been quite tight all night, and Sporting managed to exploit it and possibly should have done better.
Only their second corner, an in-swinger, and it was a much better delivery than the first one. Danny Higginbottom got his head to it. Goal kick. More Sunderland games coming your way on Setanta Sports. Victoria Setúbal on Wednesday here in Albufeira. You can see that one, the build-up starting at 5 to 9 on Setanta Sports 1, then Cove Ramblers and Nottingham Forest. All of those games live right here on Setanta Sports before the season opener. Now an opportunity for Michael Chopra. Saved by Thiago.
Good chance. Just opening up now, isn't it? A few gaps now in the back four. One at either end.
Be disappointed he didn't score?
Yeah, he will be, being a centre forward. I fancied him, actually. There's the other chance.
Nosworthy, who started at centre-half, playing right back in this second half after the introduction of Russell Anderson, and perhaps he was the player caught out of position.
He was still making his way back from 10 minutes ago when he went on that overlap.
1-1 with quarter of an hour to go. Roy O'Donovan's equaliser owing much to some fantastic work from Anthony Stokes. Anderson's free kick. Chipped in dangerously. O'Donovan making the run, but it was too close to Thiago.
A little bit over-elaborate with that. Decent position to work something from.
And Kavanagh sensing the danger behind him. More than happy to sweep Rodrigo Chewy's legs away and concede the free kick.
It's silly from Cav that. He's experienced enough to know that this distance, these kind of players Sporting have got can, well, we've seen it first half.
Watching back, was never afraid of tries. Luck from elaborate positions, extravagant distances from goal. Well, it's going to be a former Middlesbrough man who will try and get one over on his erstwhile local rivals. What can the Brazilian do from here? Long run up, good strike, beaten away by Fulop, out to Chewy, great block. Sunderland survive. And play will now stop as Stokes tries to bring it clear so that treatment can be administered to Rodrigo Chewy. Just got caught on the ankle there by Collins.
Second touch invited the tackle, didn't it? He's all right, he's got another one.
Good attempt, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's caught it. It's moved a bit. Didn't really follow it in, Sunderland, did they? They had hard luck Sporting the way it come out. Centre forward certainly followed it in. Fell to Chewy, second touch of tackle, and he paid the price for it, got injured.
He scored in his last game for Middlesbrough. Sporting not happy here because you see Danny Higginbottom getting involved. I think they felt that play should have been returned to them. Has been played in very good spirit, this friendly, by and large. One thumping challenge from Richardson in the first half. That's the first time it's really boiled over. Roy Keane just having a few words with Danny Higginbottom there.
Is Roy trying to calm things down? Now he'll know the importance of certainly not losing players over stupid things in pre-season is important, and losing players through injury is one thing, but silly sending offs, you know, you don't need it.
Play resumes. The ball in. Preacher, the whistle's gone. Good goalkeeping in the end by Thiago. I'm unaware that the whistle had gone when Preacher tried to head it back towards Chopra, but it is a Sporting free kick. Climbing by the Swede. Anderson. Hasn't made the impression that Sunderland that he would have wanted after a sterling decade of service in the first team at Aberdeen. And he will in his loan spell down at Plymouth in the Championship last season, but just the 2 games for Sunderland since signing for £1 million. And Chopra has been sent off.
Well, just as we said, didn't we? You don't want any stupid sending offs. I mean, we were sort of watching the ball. We don't really know what's happened. Looks like it's a late tackle. Yeah. It's daft. I mean, you know, you might have got away with a player in the Premier League who made a stud up to that and we're seeing in Portugal, players are renowned for going over the slightest things, and he has had a kick out, and the Portuguese player's gone down. He's made a meal of it, but the referee's seen it, and he's been given a straight red card, and I'm sure Roy will be fuming. It's just as we said, you don't want to be losing players in pre-season matches to silly sending off offences, you know.
Well, it had threatened to boil over. Roy Keane not happy. I think the referee has invited Keane to watch the rest of this from the stands. And he too makes way. Well, it's an unwritten rule in pre-season friendlies that players can be, or trainers can be involved, managers, sorry, can be invited to bring players off. I don't think there are actually any more substitutes that Sunderland could bring on, but nevertheless, a straight red when there hasn't been a yellow all night does seem harsh. Yeah,
I was going to say, to be fair, we're pre-season. Yeah, he's had a little petulant kick out. He's not really hurt the player. Yeah, possibly in a competitive game, it might have been a sending off where you know, but in a pre-season friendly, that a good refereeing would have been maybe, like you say, have a word with the manager, invite the player off the pitch for the foul, and get on with it.
Now the 10 men have 9 minutes to hold on, and they have a free kick. And tempers threatening, just to simmer a little bit above the surface.
Exactly. I mean, go to Roy Keane, invite the player off. It gives you 2 or 3 minutes to maybe tell him to calm the teams down, get the two managers together. Just come on, pre-season friendly, let's just calm it down. We don't want any silly sending-offs. And let's see out the last 10 minutes. Now it's players been sent off, Roy's gone to the stand, players are getting a bit bitty, argumentative, they're tired.
Boot raised there by Tennell, and you saw a couple of the Sunderland players saying, well, hang on a minute, ref, that is also worthy of a card if you're going to send Chopra off. Kavanagh was the most vociferous of the players in the defence of Michael Chopra, but it is a free kick here to the 10 men of Sunderland, and can they get their noses in front for the first time in the game?
Foreign soil. We played a few teams abroad in Europe, and referees are completely different than Premier League referees. They see things, they act differently. They don't like that kind of thing. Chopra did, and resulted in a red card. Possibly a Premier League referee would have dealt with it differently.
It is an indirect free kick. Kavanagh standing over it. Short for Ledbetter, and it really was close. Deflection all important. Kavanagh. Hard to see, incidentally, why the police dog is necessary on the running track, whether he's there to, instead of calm the fans down, try and calm the players down and act as a deterrent.
He's got enough to say for himself, hasn't he?
Roy Keane got a red card for saying less than that. Danny Higginbottom with a trademark long throw towards that near post. Kavanagh took a deflection. It's another corner. Romagnoli getting in the way. Here's another view of the free kick.
They want to go and win this now, Sunderland, don't they?
And the header is in. And it's Nosworthy. And the 10 men of Sunderland lead in the closing stages against Sporting Lisbon. Nyron Nosworthy, who's never scored for Sunderland in anger, but he's given them the goal, which could well give them a very notable pre-season scout.
Good quality ball in, good leap, downward header and it beats the keeper. I was just about to say, it's funny how the sending-offs produce like a more match day mentality from the players. They've kind of upped the game, their attitude, you know, the tackles, and it's produced a goal.
And from a very unlikely source, more than 90 games for Sunderland without a goal. His last one in competitive action coming nearly 5 years ago for Gillingham. With a 10-men lead. They'll be happy to restrict Sporting to shots from that kind of range. Fulop's hardly had a save to make since coming on at half-time.
Good performance by Sunderland, but like I say, up to 80 minutes. It's kind of nice, wasn't it? It was touch, pass, create a chance, that kind of thing. Typical pre-season friendly. But since the sending off, you know, Sunderland have certainly upped the game. The tempo's been a lot better in the last 6 or 7 minutes, and they've taken the game to Sporting, and the tackles have been flying in again, and they've wanted to win the ball a lot more than Sporting, and it's created a corner.
And here they come again, looking for a third goal. It's just fell behind 2 players, but it does come. Put in by Stokes, and Sunderland are going to win, and they're going to win in some style.
They've dropped it down a gear, haven't they? Like I say, the last 7 minutes, they've dropped it down a gear, all because of the sending off. You know, their attitude changed. Brilliant.
Looked as though the chance might have gone to Sunderland players converging on the same ball there. But Stokes very quick to react.
Good
and that's
finish.
Another good finish.
Good finish. Got each other's way, the 2 Sunderland players. Stokes was there to clear up the mess, and he's put it in the bottom corner. Good finish. But well done, Sunderland. You know, their attitude, fantastic. They could have sat down with 10 men, took the draw pre-season, but they haven't. They've got the bit between the teeth. A little bit more aggressive in their play, and they've gone on and won it. Well done.
Pre-season campaigns for a manager always about trying to find things out about his team that he doesn't know. Roy Keane will never have doubted the character within this particular set of players, but it really has been shown that they have it in abundance tonight. Playing Sporting Lisbon in Portugal, 9 minutes to go, a man down, and they've scored twice in that 9-minute period, and they're going to pick up a hugely notable scalp. And this really is a fantastic catalyst, hopefully for their season, but a foundation for their pre-season campaign, and probably a foundation for the season proper. This performance and this last 10 minutes, I'm sure, will be mentioned many times when they have their backs against the wall throughout the season to come, and it could get even better here because they have a free kick. And what's the referee going to do? Leandro Grimi was the player who made the foul. Paolo Bento with a face of thunder. It's going to be a yellow card for Grimi. And another opportunity for Sunderland, perhaps to rub Sporting's noses in even more.
You certainly can't question their attitude, Sunderland. Even last season, it was their attitude that kept them up, you know, and that's something that comes from the manager. We know all about Roy Keane.
In from Stokes, but the referee spotted something he didn't like amongst the jockeying for position inside the penalty area. Nosworthy's goal made it 2-1. Anthony Stokes, just 2 minutes later, doubled the lead. He's done well. Stokes set up the first goal. When you consider that Sporting were a goal up at half-time, it really has been a very impressive second-half performance, particularly in the context of the game. Those travelling Weirsiders will be delighted. 900 or so of them down here in the Algarve. And it's a night they'll remember.
You're going to have San Miguel taste a little bit better, won't it?
Stoppage time approaching. Decent chance. Fulop did well, stood up after good work from Yelin Jarlo.
Down that left-hand side again, you know, that Nosworthy, I think he's shown he's not an out-and-out right-sider. He's certainly a centre-half. He's just getting caught wrong side of his man again.
It may have been the shoulder of Martin Fulop, but he nevertheless stood up and tried to make himself as an imposing obstacle as possible for Vukovic and managed. Watch him back. 90 seconds of stoppage time remain. Again, space on the Sporting left, and Nosworthy out there now. Grimmy can get the ball in. Miscue clearance from Ledbetter. Shuey trying to get the shot in. Sunderland standing firm. And Anderson able to whack it away. And now the break is on. 4 against 3. Stokes. Went for the dramatic. Sunderland will be more than happy just to play out time from this corner.
Yeah, just run the clock down now, take the victory. Get the players out of it, rehydrate, good night's sleep, back to work tomorrow. Job done.
Corner from Stokes. And he will be followed by another. Sunderland doing well to get the bodies back as quickly as they can. O'Donovan giving away the free kick.
That's what you want to see as well as a manager. You know, they lose the ball from a corner and there's 4 or 5 players breaking the necks to get back.
Canera. And the long-range effort, and again of little consequence, and that's the last touch of the game. A game in which Sunderland have done brilliantly, trailing at half-time, got themselves back on level terms, survived the red card shown to Michael Chopra, scored late twice, and have won by 3 goals to 1. Well, it really is a performance and a result that will have impressed Roy Keane, even though he will only have seen the 2nd and 3rd goals from the stand. Nyron Nosworthy will never forget the night that he opened his account for Sunderland against Sporting Lisbon. Not a bad place to do it. Well, let's have a look back at the action. Sporting taking a half-time lead. A long-range free kick from Ronnie, possibly taking a deflection, but no doubt Craig Gordon will be frustrated that that one beat it.
Yeah, just zipped, bounced in front of him. I think it was Murphy, wild slash with his right foot. I think he's just done Gordon, but it's gone under him. He'll be disappointed with that. And it come against the run of play, really. But, you know, the heads didn't go down. They showed good attitude, Sunderland. Changed a few players at half-time, and this player really impressed me, Stokes. Good ball across, great touch and great finish.
Roy O'Donovan with the equalising goal after great play from Anthony Stokes, and he had a very, very good game in the second half. Stokes, he would add to the goals himself later on. It was a good finish as well by O'Donovan, taking it down with a neat first touch, and the finish was emphatic. So that made it 1-1, and into the last 10 minutes that would have been a very creditable result, but even more so in the context of what happened. The game had seen tempers fray in the 4 or 5 minutes immediately prior to this. Chopra upending Marco Canera. We hadn't had a yellow card all night, but the red card for Michael Chopra so incensed Roy Keane that he too was ordered away. And I had to watch the last 10 minutes from the stand, and what he saw was a fantastic Sunderland performance. Nosworthy making it 2-1 with his first goal for Sunderland.
He just dropped it a gear after the sending off, didn't he? And it become more like a match. I know it is a match, but more like match tempo, and their attitude changed, the impetus changed, and the desire to win the game all of a sudden was there, and they chased things down, they harried, they created more and more chances, and they were more clinical. Great finish from Stokes, wrapped the game up.
Stokes capitalising on a very good individual performance in the second half, and there were a number of impressive individual performances from the Sunderland players, but plenty for Roy Keane and Sunderland to be proud of. A very good night's work here on the Algarve. So 3-1 victory for Sunderland, and you can catch all the best action from their pre-season schedule right here on Setanta Sports. Vitória Setúbal providing the opposition as the Tour of Portugal comes to a close on Wednesday, followed by games against Cove Ramblers and Nottingham Forest. And a brand new Barclays Premier League season kicks off in August. You can catch the best action right here on Setanta Sports, including Sunderland-Liverpool on the first day. But this was a very impressive performance from Jason and myself. It's good night.
This calls for surgery.
Quick, empty my syringe. These people are mad.
What in the world could save these people?
These people are mad.
Completely bananas.
The new Seat Ibiza, where beauty and technology come together.
Imagine a unique new contact lens. One that refreshes itself every time you blink. Only Dailies Aqua Comfort Plus has our unique triple action moisture that lubricates, moisturizes and refreshes for outstanding comfort all day long. New Dailies Aqua Comfort Plus daily disposable lenses, the most comfortable Dailies contact lens ever. See your optician now about free trial lenses.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could make last night's dream today's reality? With a Lloyds TSB loan, you could do exactly that, instantly. Not only could the money be in your account the very same day you apply, but we can offer you a great rate, 7.2% APR typical for Premier account customers. Lloyds TSB, for the journey.
Dell Inspiron laptops. Yours is high-def widescreen and amazing wireless reception. The colourful Dell Inspiron 1525. Buy yours for £429, including a free choice of colour. Powered by an Intel Core 2 Duo processor. Go online now at dell.co.uk/TV.